morning, I'm Dilip, editor of EducationWorld.
Good morning, I'm Summiya Yasmeen, managing editor.
In this issue of EducationWorld, we are a bit late in presenting it, but it's a very, very important issue. The popular belief is that EducationWorld is primarily school magazine. Actually, it's not. We pay a lot of attention to higher education, and our EducationWorld India higher rankings, which we bring out in 2 separate issues, pay a lot of attention to.
Dilip, we must tell our readers that these rankings were instituted way back in 2009. So for the last almost 13 years, we've been ranking higher education institutions across the country.
Yes, and we have segregated and higher institutions very carefully, because the objective is that they should help students, school-leaving students and parents and the families to make informed, intelligent decisions as to which institution they should choose for their future careers.
Yes.
Because it's a very, very important decision.
Yes. Before we come and tell you what, how we've done these rankings, our higher education rankings, and what we've covered in part 1, should we tell our audience what we've got in store apart from our cover story?
Yes. Let's run through that quickly.
Yes, run through quickly. I think in the editorial section we've got 2 again very incisive edits. One edit is of course on the wastage of parliamentary time.
Yes, sessions are
disrupted by opposition parties
and adjourned by government and the opposition parties. In fact, the budget was passed without any discussion at all. This is not a good thing, and we've argued here that actually Parliament doesn't function well. It sends out a message to all other institutions that nobody cares, and therefore they can also run in not run at all.
They get a broken windows message. To know what this broken windows message is, read our edit. Our second edit also is very important. It's on the infantilization of higher education by our regulatory system. Recently,
and we argue that it's time to end it.
Yes, there's recently a very big scandal in NAC with the chairperson, Mr. Patwardhan, resigning. And in his resignation letter, he is, it's a severe indictment of NAC where he alleges that, there's severe malpractices and several higher education institutions have been awarded grades they don't deserve.
Yes. Therefore, we wonder whether it's necessary to regulate higher education institutions so much. Why not leave them, as the National Education Policy suggests, leave them and give them autonomy to manage their own affairs, and leave it between them and the public and parents and students to decide which is a good institution, with the help of magazines like EducationWorld, India Today. There are many others who do rankings. So it's not necessary to babysit, as we say, infantilize higher education institutions.
Yes.
We recommend you all read it. And perhaps we need to bring liberalization into and deregulation into higher education, which is overdue.
Yes, and of course, as usual, our education news section has some very interesting education news from around the country. In Delhi, we talk about the Aam Aadmi Party and how the recent spate of arrests of Manish Sisodia and some other party leaders. Why
going to be its impact
on education and the Delhi education model? Well, our report seems to say that there's going to be no let up on education reform.
There will be continuity.
Yes, there will be continuity. Atishi Marlena has taken charge now as the education minister, and given her past track record, seems to be that the Delhi education model will continue and perhaps improve.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Bombay, we have a good story about caste shadow over IITs, and we wonder whether in higher education institutions you have caste discrimination. One wonders what is the mental capabilities of those people, that they can't get over these ancient prejudices.
Yes, in fact it's about the tragic suicide of a Dalit student at IIT Bombay, which has triggered this discussion. Another education news also, we've got a second one from Maharashtra, where we talk about an innovative teachers recruitment initiative initiated by the Maharashtra state government, where they're going to tie up with TCS, Dilip,
among others,
among other private sector companies
to recruit teachers.
Yes, to conduct a test.
Because there are too many scams associated all over the country with teacher recruitment.
Yeah. And in West Bengal, as usual, the never-ending TET saga.
Teacher recruitment.
Yes, of teacher recruitment.
Court orders, stays. Result is that, of course, the students get hit.
Yes. And again, Tamil Nadu also, again, quite a, upheaval has been caused by announcement by the Tamil Nadu DMK government that schools which were hitherto run by the Department of, tribal communities, etc., now will come under the education departments. So that has caused quite a stir in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, they will come under the education ministry.
Yes.
And they will not get the special status.
Karnataka, we've got an education news on, the confusion and chaos over assessment, which are actually exams of class 5 and 8 students.
Whereas the RT Act says there should be no exams between class 1 and class 8.
Education notes, education briefs, again very interesting roundup of education news happening around the country. And our expert comment section this time is written by Professor Krishna Kumar, formerly Professor of Delhi University and also
Professor of Education.
Chairman of NCRT. He's talking about the transfer sword that hangs over government school teachers. And why this obsession with this centralized teacher recruitment system in government schools. Why can't government schools also enjoy, like private schools, the freedom of doing in-school recruitments? I think that's quite a brilliant idea, Dilip. Young Achievers section, again, two bright young achievers who are making, the country proud. And of course, now we come to the main thing,
the cover story.
The cover story, our Education World India Higher Education Rankings Part 1. In this issue, we have ranked India's top 500 arts, science and commerce colleges divided into 3 categories: private autonomous colleges, government autonomous colleges as conferred autonomy by the University Grants Commission, and non-autonomous colleges.
It's quite a complicated system, so I think one should look at this carefully. And some of the best names of higher education and undergraduate education, in fact, non-autonomous.
Yes, in Delhi University, all affiliated colleges of Delhi and University, including St. Stephen's, Miranda House, have not been given autonomy.
As yet, despite their getting very high scores.
Yes. So, to tell you a little bit about how we do these rankings, we have relied as usual on our partner, the Delhi-based Center for Forecasting and Research, which put together a very knowledgeable sample respondent base of over 4,000. These comprised final year students in colleges, faculty and representatives from industry. So over 4,000 people have been interviewed for the survey, and they have ranked and rated these colleges across 6 parameters, including competence of faculty, faculty welfare and development, infrastructure, etc.
Yes, leadership.
Yeah. So the tables are very detailed. We've got state tables, we've got parameters of excellence tables.
And these are very reader friendly.
Very reader friendly. Highly recommend you read them. It's a wealth of information for parents and school leaving students, like Dilip said earlier, to make informed choices about colleges which suit their aptitudes and their fields of interest.
Yes. Of course, you will see that there are what seems like acres and acres of tables, but they're all very painstakingly put together.
Yes.
And they're a mine of information, because it enables students to choose colleges which may have a high score on one parameter but not on another.
Yes. So we also have in this issue India's top private engineering colleges. So these rankings are unique because in these rankings we've left out the IITs and NITs, which admit less than 2%
and they always,
India school leavers.
And they always come at the top of all the rankings.
Yeah. So we've our purpose with these rankings is to provide the other 98% who don't get into the IITs and NITs information about
the best colleges, most suitable.
Yeah, and some of these are bridging the gap between the IITs and then which exist now. For example, BITS Pilani, an excellent higher education institutions which this year has topped our rankings, Dilip.
Yes.
Again, India's top private engineering colleges. We've done a national table, rank across several parameters, the state tables, parameter tables, so you can judge and see which college suits your aptitudes and interests. So that's our Education World India Higher Education Ranking. So we recommend that you like Dilip said, these tables are a mine of information. If you do some good data mining and checking, you'll be able to arrive at your college of choice.
Now, I think we also should mention that uniquely we rank colleges according to parameters also.
Yes.
That means a person who may be interested in, say, for example, industry interface, then which is the best college, the undergraduate college with the best industry interface? Or if you are interested in curriculum and pedagogy, which is the best? So
if you are interested in research and innovation,
yes,
which colleges do provide you ample opportunities to pursue your research and innovation ideas.
Indeed, I wish we had this kind of information when we were at college, because our college choices would have been entirely different if we had made them. A very important teacher-to-teacher column written by Sanjay Thakore, who was the chancellor of he was the president of the new Vijayabhumi Greenfield University near Bombay, where he talks about how important it is for all programs to have a liberal arts component in it, so that you have well-rounded students coming out of college and university. So with liberal arts education as well.
Correct. Yeah. And of course, in our book section, again, two very interesting and insightful book reviews.
The first book review indeed is quite revolutionary in that way. It's on this India's China War, a book which was banned for about 50 years and now has recently been reprinted. It in fact points out that India had many chances to mend the border issue with China, but they were missed by Nehru and previous Congress government, and we are paying heavily for that right to this day.
Yes. Other book reviews of The Epiphany of the Dalit. It's a biography of a
which
Dalit.
we touched on earlier,
yes,
that a lot of discrimination in universities against Dalits, and even that persists to this day, which is very strange.
And our postscript section again is very, I think, inviting for people who would like to
round it off by some not very heavy reading. Of course, one is about the long investigations that go on for 9 hours and 10 hours questioning people. In fact, that's browbeating. We argue that browbeating is not admissible in the courts. Anyway, that's the issue this month. We wish you happy reading. We advise you to read this issue carefully and give us some feedback. We have a paucity of feedback from our readers, don't we?
Yes, we'd like more feedback from you so we can engage in constructive debate about how to reform Indian education. And like we say in our story, like you write in your story, Dilip, Indian education, especially higher education, is at an inflection point with the NEP 2020 being implemented, with the imminent entry of foreign universities. So there's a lot of action happening in Indian higher education, and we need to debate to see whether our reforms are on the right track.
No, it's very important to debate these things and not just let it go passing by, which is what's happening actually in India, which is rather sad. Anyway, thank you.
Anyway, before we go, Dilip, should we quickly tell them what we've got in Parents World? In Parents World, as usual, a very relevant and timely story. This time we're talking about the child mental health crisis, and we're suggesting to parents that natural therapies are your best option. So these natural therapies which we are recommending is nature therapy, animal assisted therapy, art therapy, etc. So we are saying that, you know,
these options are now available to children, and people are looking seriously at them. And above all, we should tell them first that there is like a national mental health crisis among children. Children are very stressed out, particularly after COVID, and they have to make up for the education they lost, and there are exams being introduced, and a lot of pressure on children. So we suggest that apart from going to psychologists and psychiatrists, there are also these natural therapies which can help you with communicating with nature, animals, etc., which are becoming quite popular these days.
Thank you.
Thank you.